let's check out how the dialogue works, and then I'll show you how to make it. Welcome, feel free to browse my wares. If you're interested, I also have a problem. Let's click inquire. Okay, I'm interested. Merchant shipments have been getting attacked. Put together a bit of gold. No need to accept or refuse. If you bring back proof, you get paid. All right, then we've been updated with, now we have two options, just the shop and the quest. I think this will just, yeah, it'll just keep saying, let me know when you've dealt with your problem. And the shop is just a regular shop menu. Back out of this, and let's go deal with that problem. What's up, man? I've got a deal for you. Empty your pockets and no one gets hurt. And looks like we have a lot of options to choose from now. But I just wanted to kind of show the limitations. A small sentence like this would work. You could tell the text is a little bit smaller, but still relatively easy to read. But if you put in a sentence that's a bit too long, it might be too difficult for your players to read. So if you are making these, I would just double check how long you make the text in them. Let's just use this last one, attack. Die, bring it on. Fireball. Looks like we got the bandit's bandana. We could just double check, make sure he's dead. Can't seem to find a pulse, so probably, he's probably dead. We'll head back and turn this in. We'll click on that quest now. That's the bandit's bandana. Here's your reward. Got some money from that. And now the quest is gone. That's kind of the basics of how the dynamic dialogue will work. So let's see how the code part of it works. So there's kind of two different ways that we can do this. The first way is to make a bunch of items that will be all of your dialogue options throughout your whole game, making sure that you have the name being the thing that you want your players to see what's written, the icon that they'll see, and the item type to be hidden item, A or B. I don't think any of these other things really matter because since it'll be a hidden item, they can't use it anyway, but these are the ones that I have up right now. The second option that you can do is to have your choices just be, this one would just say choice 1, and the second one would say choice 2, and so on for whatever you want your max choices to be in your game. And then during runtime, you can actually change what the name and the icon of that dialogue choice would be. Now, of course, that would be extra code that you manually have to do for every single NPC, but it is possible that you can do it that way. And at the end of the video, I will show you the code that you could put in to let you change the name and icon and all that. But once you have all your choices, we're going to make a common event. We're going to start off this common event by minusing 999 of all of those items that you just made. Just in case you accidentally have multiple copies in your inventory, it makes sure we get rid of all of them every time we talk to an NPC so we can freshly put in whatever options that we want. Then you're going to want to make an if statement with a new switch for every single item that you have. And I would highly recommend having the switch be whatever the item ID number is, just because later on in this tutorial, it really does help a lot. So you could make the switches whatever you want, but I would highly recommend making them the same switch ID as your item ID. But once you have all those switches, your if statement is just going to want to check if whichever one it is on, and if it is on, inside of it, add that item to your inventory. So if accept is on, we're going to add one accept, and so on and so on. And then at the very end, we're going to want to do control switches, turning off all of those switches. So for me, mine goes from 41 to 55. After that, let's see how it actually works on an NPC. So this will be a repeatable formula that you can use for every NPC. We're going to turn on the switch of whatever choice that you want this NPC to do right before the dialogue. Then immediately call the common event to refresh choices, which will get rid of all of them in your inventory, add these items that you have on, and then turn all these switches back off. We'll follow that by text, immediately by the select item, doing the choice number and hidden item A. This choice number will be a new one that we'll make, so have it be whatever variable you'd like. Then after that, we're going to do an if statement of that choice number that you picked equal to whatever your item ID number is of the item that you added to your inventory. And if you kept your switches the same as your item ID, then you can kind of just scroll up and look. So because we added this one, this one, this one, it looks like we have 41, 42, 43. So we could do an if statement for if it's, 41, 42, 43. But if you don't use the same one, then you will have to manually go into your item index, or you could click this change item and kind of look real quick to see what the item ID number is. It just makes it a bit more messy and kind of messes up your workflow. So that's why I'd recommend having your switches be the same ID as your number. You can kind of just glance up and look and be like, okay. But you will also want to add an if choice number equals 0. This means if you back out of the menu and there is no item that was selected. So for this, I just added a dialogue like, you think you could just walk away? You don't have to, but again, if you want something to trigger when you click back, you can. And yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, you can customize this as much as you want. Like, let's just say, you can't flirt with them unless you have a certain skill unlocked. So you could, put this in an if statement. And the beauty of it is you don't really need to worry about these things down here if you have the wrong one, because it'll never activate. So if I ended up getting rid of most of this stuff and I only had, accept and attack, then I would only ever be able to click 41, 52, or 0. So even though you have all these down here, it would still only look at these two because you can only click those two. So that's kind of the freedom you have. You could kind of just add all of them if you wanted to and put them on every NPC and just change the ones that you actually add. But yeah, just keep that formula. Switches, common event, text immediately followed by your select item, and then your if statements, putting whatever you want in that if statement for when you click on the item. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you want to change your data name and icon, this is the script that you'll do for that. Changing the number in these brackets to the number of your item. Of course, this one is for the name, this one is for the icon. Changing what you want in these quotes, and changing this number to the number that is for your icon. But that is everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.